And we bring in Jason Leffler, driver of the number 38 Great Clip Chevrolet for Turner Motorsports. Jason, top of the morning.
Yo, what's happening?
What's going on, Jace?
Just getting ready for another hot weekend of racing here in Iowa this coming weekend, but it's all good. All good.
We had a hot weekend for sure in Indianapolis. I know you're a busy boy. Walk us through the weekend. I know you did some open wheel racing in the Nationwide Series.
Yeah, I ran Johnny Vance's Silver Crown car, USAC Silver Crown car Thursday. We qualified second and led a little bit of the race, and just had some handling issues. Just stagger grew. It seemed like the tire was really inconsistent, but had a lot of fun that night, and we didn't get to finish with one, but ran good there for a while. So yeah, that was a long day. I think we were out there for 16 hours for that race between watching the ARCA race and the midget race and the Silver Crown race. But a lot of fun out there at Lucas Oil Raceway. And then on to Saturday with the Great Clips car, we ended up finishing sixth. So it was a good night. We battled back. We ran top 10 most of the race, and we had a fuel regulator problem, which is very unusual. And even more unusual that the problem cured itself. So the last 15 laps, the motor started running again. I guess it got some debris in the regulator that was sticking it wide open. But yeah, we came back. We had to battle back hard to finish sixth with the Great Clip Chevy. But just glad to get a top 10 after the last 3 or 4 weeks we've had.
Are you surprised with that fuel thing that went wrong and then cured itself? I mean, that just seems to play into the mantra that's been affecting you all year. Bad luck. If you didn't have bad luck, you wouldn't have any luck at all.
It's been that way for years. Yeah, very strange. The Waterman fuel pump systems we run now, they're really neat. They make a lot of fuel pressure, so you actually got to almost regulate them down. And it got some debris in there, and it was sticking the regulator. So I had way too much fuel pressure. I could see it on my gauge, but we still didn't know what the problem was exactly at the time. We thought maybe a loose fuel line or we're stuck in air somewhere. And it happened just about halfway through the race. The motor started running real rough and spitting fuel out and all that. And then what happened was it burned so much fuel that we ran out. We ran out under that red flag that they had for that big mess of 3 and 4. And when it did that, it lost all fuel pressure and it kind of reset itself. And then it was fine after that. So it was a pretty wild night. And the last few restarts were really wild. We had to do some beating and banging to get back up there. But by that time, I was so mad I couldn't hardly see straight. So just glad the race was over, and we got a pretty decent finish out of it.
It almost seemed like 2 different races. The first half was completely different than the second half.
Yeah, the first half was pretty calm.
Yeah,
and everybody got in line. Everybody taking care of their cars, and then those late restarts, especially ORP, it's so wide, it's easy to just kind of drive down there in the bottom and get a few spots. And the problem is the exit of the corner, everybody funnels right back into the same spot. So, anytime you have late restarts like that, it makes it exciting. And it definitely was exciting at the end of the race, for sure.
You had a scary moment for your teammate there, Justin Allgaier, late with the fire. Have you heard of, have they been able to pinpoint what happened with that, Jason?
I don't know. There was some talk that there's a loose fuel line or maybe, it started small. I could see it. At first, I just thought it was rubber burning. But, man, it got pretty big fast there, which is a shame. He had a good run going. And he's a beast of family, too. He either has really good luck or no luck at all. So, I don't know. I'm kind of speculating on what the problem was. I don't know if they ever really pinpointed it yet.
And of course, Justin, giving props to the race car for keeping the smoke, keeping the fire out of the cockpit. Have you ever been in a situation where all of a sudden you've got fire smoke in the cockpit?
Yeah, a few times in my career. Yeah, it's not the smoke is the bad thing. I mean, obviously fire's not great either, but when it seems like the panic sets in when the smoke and starts billowing and you can't see, and the bigger problem than that is you can't breathe, and it seems like it takes for eternity to get out of the race car. So in reality, it's only a few seconds, but yeah, that's not a good situation to be in.
All right, you're back to Iowa Speedway this weekend. You guys were there in May. What do you see as maybe a difference from May to Saturday night's race, Jason?
Well, I think it's going to be hotter for sure. Even though in May it was a day race, I think the temperature is just going to be, just way up there this Saturday night. But we're up for the nationwide dash for cash, so that's kind of cool. It's really cool, actually. If we're all racing for a $100,000 bonus, and in May we had a really, really good car. We just overheated the motor, and I think we'll have a good car on Saturday. So we should be in pretty good shape. But I'm sure the track's going to be slick, and it's going to be a lot of hot drivers behind the wheel there. So you never know what could happen.
Race fans ask us all the time about how you guys keep cool in those race cars, and even though you're racing, late evening into nighttime, early nighttime at Iowa, the car is still hot. What kind of creature comforts do you have inside of the race car to help keep you as cool as possible?
Well, yeah, that's as cool as possible. You're never cool in those things. Some people don't realize they're hot, even on a cold winter day. They're still hot inside. We have like what we call it our air conditioner, but it's really not an air conditioner. It's a little aluminum box that cools the air electronically, and it blows into the top of your helmet. That's probably a good 20 degrees cooler, maybe sometimes 30 than the outside air temperature. And another thing that we have hooked onto that is our CO2 filter, which really helps. It cleans the air, gets rid of the carbon monoxide, and that keeps you fresh too. But other than that, you really don't do anything. I mean, obviously, the guys at the shop, or the guys in the crew, they do a lot of work on insulation and stuff like that around the headers and around the seat area, and that's all really, really improved over the years. And that carbon seat, the way we have it vented and everything now, it's a lot thicker than the aluminum used to be, so you have quite a bit of insulation there too. So that part of it, to me, seems to be cooler than it used to be. But all that heating, safety heating, and air quality's come a long, long way in the last decade or so.
Yeah, that's for sure. Tricks of the trade, characteristics of Iowa Speedway from your perspective, so you can maybe wind up in victory lane Saturday night. What do you need to do?
Well, I'm not going to give them away.
Okay, you're right. Tell us about the racetrack, Jason.
No, yeah, it's a great track. I mean, there's always 2 or 3 grooves of racing. There's a couple bumps. There's a big bump getting into turn 1, and a bit. So you got to kind of figure out how to get around that thing, or under it, or over it. And but it's I enjoy racing there. I mean, you got 3 distinct grooves. You got a lot of room out of the corners to run, and on top of all that, the fans are great up there. So it is a fun place to come race. Go race.
And we wish you all the best in trying to win the U.S. Cellular 250 Saturday night under the lights at the Iowa Speedway. Safe travels to you. Have fun this weekend. We'll catch up with you next Wednesday.
All right, guys. Nice talking to you. It's always a pleasure.
Take care, Jason. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Jason Leffler joining us on the hotline, fresh off a 6th place finish in the